I live probably a 45 to 50-minute drive from the Canadian border. And it's also, certainly in Vermont, our biggest trading partner. It is for much of the country. I know you're aware of the situation with the Morses Line port of entry and the Rainville family farm. Just so people know, Morses Line, it's in the province of Quebec. It comes into Vermont. It's a very, very small traditional crossing where people usually are used to going back and forth, visiting relatives and going shopping and so on. Now, the federal government believes it needs to acquire 5 acres of land from the Rainville farm to construct a new port of entry at Morses Line, Vermont. And I understand and appreciate they scaled back the size of the port from its initial design. But I question whether some resolution could be done using the current footprint that's already there. In other words, not expanding it beyond the area they presently have. It seems the government has initiated condemnation proceedings against the 5 acres of the Rainville family's farmland. I know this is an important part of our border, but we have concerns in Vermont, not the least of which preserving farms, but preserving the integrity of our own state. So I asked you in February if you could arrange public meetings between the department and the community on the Morses Line port of entry. I've heard since then from many concerned community members they want more information. Can you commit to arranging a public meeting with the local community on this issue in the very near future? A public meeting in or along the border with Canada?
Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Chairman. And this is one of those things where we are trying to work with the owners to get down to the footprint. I believe it's actually been reduced from 5 acres to 1.5 acres in terms of what CBP has determined it needs to actually do the kind of port improvement there that there's a certain minimum amount. Unless you do it, you might as well not do it at all. So we will absolutely have one more community meeting, and as I said, we have been working to try to minimize the amount of acreage involved.
And I understand the situation you have, but we've had Operation Stone Garden, we've had the situation we get some pent-up concerns. I fully expect it's not going to be the way it was when I was a youngster, and you drive up for the day into Canada and back, and many of us have family members in Canada, and I realize it's not quite as easy going back and forth, but this is a friendly country, and there may be some unfriendly people that come into the country, but it is a balancing act that we have to do. I know that Alan Burson, the new Customs and Border Protection Commissioner, has been to Derby Line to see things firsthand, but I will be having more and more questions of you. I want to mitigate concerns when people get stopped and tens of miles away from the border along our interstate get stopped and have to prove their citizenship. People that have been driving back and forth that road for decades. It is creating the animosity between our residents and the federal government that we don't need to have. And I know that the men and women who work there are very dedicated, very hardworking, very professional. And I want to find ways to lower the tension that's going on between Vermonters who are themselves very professional and very law-abiding and with the border.
Indeed, Mr. Chairman, and appreciate any suggestions you have on that score so that we will continue to work with your office and work together. And as I said earlier, we'd be happy to conduct another public hearing or have another meeting with the community up there where the Morses Line is.